Testing. Okay, I believe we are good to go.
Okay. Well, good evening. It is Monday, July 27th, 2026, and I would like to call to order the regular board meeting of Tipp City Schools at 6:31 p.m. And to begin, I would like all of us to join in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Stevens, could you please call roll?
Mrs. McMurray.
Here.
Mrs. Dillard.
Here.
Mrs. Ernst.
Here.
Mrs. Plyman.
Here.
Mr. Thompson.
Here.
All present and accounted for. There is a quorum. We can't continue the meeting.
Thank you. I would like a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll motion.
Thank you. And a second.
Second.
Mr. Mrs. Ernst, thank you. Any discussion for tonight's agenda?
May I ask who the first and second one were?
Yep, Mrs. Dillard and then Mrs. Ernst.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing none. Mr. Stevens, can you please call the vote for tonight's agenda, which includes the consent agenda items located later, but they are part of the entire agenda?
Dillard.
Yes.
Ernst.
Yes.
Plyman.
Yes.
McMurray.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes and we can move forward with our agenda. First item of business tonight, under superintendent comments, is a building project update. Mr. Moran, I will yield to you.
All right, the PK building, Section A is almost all erected. It's getting close. Or at least, I should say, the skeleton's almost done. So they started working on the ledge that connects the last staircase into the building, so it's really taken shape. And once they get done with that, probably, I think the middle of the month, and they move to C to finish that out. But that's coming along. The cement pours have been happening there. And water and storm line connections are being finalized. So, and they're gonna be re-energizing and testing. So sometime this week, probably Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're probably gonna be without water at that site just because of the shutting down water to test it, the new lines to make sure everything's good. But knock on wood, that's been going well. I think a couple board members have taken visits. Anything to add to
I watched
your?
them pour the 5th grade floor. We watched them pour that. That was very cool. It's very impressive, all of it. Beautiful view, 3rd floor. I pointed out the eagle's nest, of course. But
Awesome.
it was just really very impressive. All the quality control measures, all of the inspections, everybody working so hard. Just really very impressive.
So we'll be looking to have staff take tours, but again on Thursday, if board members want to go check it out, they can take you around and take you upstairs and see everything going on. But it's the skeleton's almost kind of finished, I think, with even the block walls are being worked on, finalizing there in the gym and maintenance areas. With that, we have on the board agenda, we have to work through our Conspan Bridge, or bridge, or whatever you want to call it, over there on the north side to get rid of the flooding that's been occurring there. That will necessitate shutdown, and we're working on access for parents and buses to use the South Drive, and that's going to be finalized here next week. But we met today with plans, and I think we have a good plan, very similar to what we did with the beginning of last year with parents coming to South Drive, but we'll actually take them around to get the cars off the street, but it's going to work out pretty good, we think, and minimal disruptions to anything for LT ball for the first 2 months, and then it'll be opened up even better. The high school cafeteria flooring is about 95% completed. They just got to do the baseboards. Furniture deliveries occurring. Punch lists are happening for second floor and first floor, hopefully by the end of this week. The gym floor, we've got ServPro who's doing some moisture control there. So that's improving, and we're anticipating a Wednesday practices, opening up for practice on Wednesday. Again, if everything goes well, the moisture is coming down to the floor, which is what's needed, and we think it's going to be okay. We'll have work next year, a lot of work to do next year in the gym, probably with redoing the floor, and the bleachers and all that stuff will be done. So we got some time schedules to figure out there. But everything's looking good for the start. We know the student furniture is coming in. We got a couple days today. It was told to us we have a couple days maybe ahead of when we expected student furniture to arrive, so that's good. So we don't it's going to be a time crunch for the first day of school still during that week, getting the old furniture out and the new furniture in. But it's going to be worth it. And again, if you'd like to see what the new flooring looks like, new areas, you're welcome to. Shook can take you to those places too and check those out. But it'll be good for everything, and that allows us, with the cafeteria being redone and the furniture, that allows us to do a couple of those extra things at the high school for next year with lunch schedules, but also for next summer we might be able to do. Again, we're looking at timing. What can we have? Stage crafters might still be an option if we can move forward, but that's going to take some planning on our side to see if there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. We are looking at a lot of the roofing, in addition to the roof of the gym that's almost finished. Should be done maybe in a week and a half. The repair parts to the roof, so if you look at this, if you go in that horseshoe, you look up to the right and the left, you see where they were repaired maybe 15 years ago. They have like a cover on it, like a rubber cover. They've got some tears in that, so that's getting worked on. And then where there's been a leak, on the louver, we think it's the louver, which is up kind of where the stairwell is. There's some issues with the brick that's being looked at to repair. So that's being investigated. Again, the idea is to take care of all the issues that have been a thorn in the side, and make sure that this thing is sealed up tight, that it's good for the long haul and not just getting it done. So that's a lot of work with Garner Miller and Shook to make that happen. They've been, again, continue to work with us to make sure, again, that we're getting a quality product. Again, we had to wait a little bit to get everything fixed, but we want all the problems fixed so there's no more leaking in the building, period. So, what questions might anybody have for me with the projects?
What is happening with the old furniture that we're taking out?
So that's part of the demo that they do. So they demo, and that's part of the project. They take care of it. So they destroy it or whatever, throw it away. It's up to them. That's all kind of like the Nevin Kopic and stuff. We tried to do some things with that to make it was more of a pain to try to deal with selling it ourselves. It was not worth the time and energy, but this is part of the project. Even with the middle school, it'll be the demo and abatement will include all the materials in there.
I mean, is it an option to open it up to the community if somebody wants to have something that they're attached to from?
Not at this time. I mean,
It just feels like throwing it in a landfill when somebody might be able to use it.
they may be recycling it. They, like some of the stuff with Nevin Kopic, the people look at what they could keep. If you saw what Nevin Kopic, they had to crawl, they were keeping scrap metal, they factor that into their prices.
Right.
So that's something that, I don't know what the bids were for that things, or I think they're throwing it away, but I'm not 100% sure if they're tossing it, recycling it, or what, but that's their property, so to speak, right now.
And then are the sites on the website, or the plans on the website, new PK-8 school. Are all of those drawings, renderings, everything, those are the most up-to-date that are being worked off of for the,
Nothing's changed that I'm aware of.
okay.
I
So
mean,
what's
the-
on
the-
here is what's being.
Yeah, nothing's changed on the design since then,
Okay.
that I'm aware of. I can't think of anything that's been changed.
Looks like there's floor plans, schematic 3D renderings, video animation, LT ball, new parking entrance,
I can verify, but I don't.
event
haven't
parking,
changed.
TMS parking, schematic exterior.
The floor plan.
And then the floor
sitting over
plans.
Classrooms is, everything's, that's been approved by OFCC is still the same.
Just so that we have the most up-to-date everything that's front-facing,
Mhm.
public-facing, so that they can kind of come along. I would like to, it would be nice if we could at least open up, because like we get to go on these site visits, but I think the community would like to be engaged with it a little more. I don't know if that's a possibility, but if it's not, at least having this as up-to-date as humanly possible, that way they can at least feel like they're involved in the process as well, since they're the ones paying for it.
Be fun to have time lapse
They are-
pictures.
I believe they are working on
Oh, are
that,
they?
yeah.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
That's something that they take every so often. I believe
Okay.
they're,
Maybe, can we put that on here?
I think they, when it gets
Closer?
closer. yeah.
Okay. I do have one thing on here, I just noticed it says at the March Board of Education work session. Is there any way we can put a date on that? Like at the March, what would that have been?
2024.
2024, there's no like year. Maybe we can add a date so that they know, like Lydia said, this is when these were decided, so.
You can look at it.
With the construction of the bridge for the water issue, how long will that change?
2 months, probably,
2 months?
yeah. Till October, mid-October, hopefully sooner, but probably mid-October, if everything goes well.
Sorry.
And the water that's coming from, that goes behind the baseball, softball field, doesn't it? Doesn't that?
It comes,
creek-
but it's coming from a lot farther away than that even. I
Right.
believe it's even coming from west of 75, and
Yeah.
it's coming this way. The original documents didn't have, had 75, stuff was them going north, but it's actually coming,
So my question
East.
is, how high does that water get near the baseball or the softball? Forgive me, I thought it was a baseball field, but you're saying the softball field.
well, both, the
They're-
baseball and
they're
softball,
both
they're
there,
both there,
yeah.
yeah.
So how close does it get there in terms of where we're gonna put some improvements there?
It really has been flooding out in that area and onto the street, not so much into
Not
the.
up
Not in
further,
the,
okay.
not on the, not west of the access road, but on the actual, where the they put a temporary, well, not temporary, the 3 pipes to allow the water, because that was what
Yeah,
they're.
they explained that
Yes.
to us, that it's the amount of water that's coming through the pipes is
It's
not
more
enough.
more than expected.
Yeah.
And looking at where all the water was coming from west of 75, that's added to it. So this will open it up so it will flow. It won't be constricted there. And that's gonna be open here as soon as that south end is done.
When is it closing?
Once they can get everything done on the south end access road, then they can shut down that side, so we have access still to all the areas.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be in the next week or so, probably.
Liz is gonna be busy with all of the,
And the other
media.
construction going on too.
getting all the media needed.
Yep.
Any other questions for Mr. Moran for the building project?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the student parent handbooks for 2026, 2027. And you can see in the public content are the draft, the red line versions of the handbooks, as well and the final versions. So you can see where changes were made and then where the new handbooks will be located. Mr. Moran, is there anything that you need to clarify with that?
We got a couple comments back, questions that are thoughts to do. I think overall, especially as we go to a PK8, but I think there's an opportunity and something that should be done is just a revamping of everything. I'd like to almost see a K-12 handbook with then like appendices for elementary, middle, high school. That'd be appropriate. But a lot of the basic stuff, a lot of the notifications that should be there just need to be there for everybody, but then get to the specific building. So maybe one handbook that has, again, elementary, middle, high school, and athletics that can be signed off on, but make it a little more readable, and also making sure it's tied to all the board policies, making sure there's links to that, opportunities for those things to happen, or Ohio Revised Code, all those things. So I think a revamp would be a good idea to do, complete revamp for the next year.
Any questions? Clarifications?
In that strategy, to make it more readable, is your intent that the middle school version section would be designed for a middle school to read and understand what their, the guardrails are for them? Or, we have things in there now about cell phone use and the AI policy that are gonna guide their behavior.
Mhm. Again, those sections, that would be, some of it would be age appropriate or level appropriate. Like tardies probably need to be spelled out. What's gonna happen if you're late at the high school and middle school? I don't know if that's needed so much at the
Right.
elementary school, but those types of things would be appropriate. But the overall attendance policy, nothing really changes
Right.
for all that. So that could be a big section in the K-12 part, but then broken down to specific needs of the building. And I think there's a lot of overlap K-5, and I think there can be a lot of overlap 6-12 too. So that's where we would section it off as needed for those things. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Anything else for Ms. Moran? Okay. Student, next, under C are the student athlete and parent handbook. You can see the attached red line version and the final draft. Mr. Moran, is there anything to add on behalf of Mr. Kramer or anything like that?
No, again, I think maybe these all could be one to make sure they're all tight together, just so it all flows, would be one document, or so to speak, would be helpful.
Anything else regarding the athletic handbook section? Okay. Next is the lunch fees. The 2026-2027 school lunch fees. The student meals will be increased 25 cents. Adult meals will be increased 30 cents. And milk will be increased 10 cents from last year. The lunch fees are as follows: $3.50 for K through 8, $3.75 for 9 through 12, 75 cents for milk, and $5 for adults. Is there anything with that? Just knowledge. Any questions for Mr. Moran regarding the school lunch fees? Okay. All right. Thank you. Next section are our citizen comments. Thank you. All right. First up, Mrs. McClurg.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Arlene McClurg. I live at 1730 Raymond Drive, Tipp City, Ohio. And as I told you the last time I spoke, I had the privilege of teaching in Tipp City for 35 years. When I began, we had one learning disabled teacher for all of Broadway. At that time, we had at least 100 students at every grade level. And now, I saw today's flyer, which thank you for sending that out. A lot of intervention specialists needed and so forth. Why? Okay? I think everyone here knows why. And there's basically one person and his ex-wife who controlled the NIH, the CDC, the HHS, WHO, and it's not for the good of children. No one can look at this schedule and say this is healthy. We're giving 4 vaccines to a pregnant woman. What happened to many of those babies, many of those women? They lost their babies. This is a total of 32 doses in 1 year, up to a total of 90. I had 5. My children are in their 40s. They had 24. We are now up to 90. 90. And I hope the school makes it very clear to parents that Ohio has every exemption. We have fought hard for it. We have philosophical, medical, religious exemptions. No one should be forced to have anything injected into their child's bodies or their own bodies they do not want. Okay, what's a major ingredient? Mercury. Mercury. And I even heard Mr. Moran mention mercury being taken out of the Broadway Central facility. One of the most toxic substances known to man. Tiny doses cause damage to the brain, gut, liver, bone marrow, nervous system, and kidneys, linked to autoimmune disorders and neurological disorders like autism. Also, aluminum, which was grandfathered in, never tested. It's known to cause brain damage at all doses, linked to Alzheimer's, dementia, seizures, autoimmune issues, SIDS, and cancer. The toxin accumulates in the brain and causes more damage with every dose. And a Dr. Chris Exley out of England shows the aluminum in an autistic child's brain. They know, they see it. Okay, these are websites that tell the truth, and an inconvenientstudy.com, it's on YouTube, free. Every one of these sites is free. Stanley Plotkin, the godfather of vaccines, tells you, yes, their research is a lie. It's a fraud. It's a hoax. Why? They never used a double-blind, placebo, gold standard test like they do for drugs. Never. All they do is test one vaccine against another. Example, they tested Prevnar 13 versus Prevnar 7. Now, the Prevnar 7 itself was never tested, but then if Prevnar 13 caused no more damage than Prevnar 7, we're going to say it's okay, it's fine, we can put it out. Now, what about pediatricians? They receive $85,000 a year in kickbacks. They risk losing their medical license if they tell the truth. This is so evil. This is so evil against the children, and you're seeing it. And I'm sorry to say, we're all seeing it. I see alert young children in restaurants, 2 years old. I know that's an unvaccinated child. He's not covered in eczema, he's not covered in psoriasis, etc.
Mrs. McClure, you've reached your time.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Parents have to know they have freedoms, and they're better to keep their child at home and homeschool to inject their child with poisons. Thank you.
Mr. Watson, you're up next, sir. Whenever you're ready.
It's amazing who God brings into our path each day. Recently, I was in line to eat lunch at Kay's restaurant in Troy. So the man behind me started chit-chatting. So I asked him what his position was. He was an EPA engineer that is following up on data centers. You might know that Sydney and Piqua are trying to put in data centers. One reason he said is because the underground like river that Tipp City gets our water from. He said they use that as a coolant in the data center, but there's nothing they've found that keeps it from the water turning gray. So us being downriver from the aquifer, we should be alarmed because all Tipp City water comes, you see the wellheads out east of town. And for it to turn the water gray is evil, I think. That's our drinking water and nobody should be putting something in it. The next subject is the football field. I'm glad you're considering it. The South Bank where the kids play football all the time, I've seen 4 adults go down because the kids are running for a pass and they undercut the adult who's trying to get to the visitor side and they go down because it's on a pretty percentage bank. One new strategy came up, I think last year or the year before. The band was down there and they had the bleachers covering the sidewalk. That's been taken away there on the west side, I think it is now. So that was a safety hazard at the football field. But I may say, I think it was called the Fallon survey to the whole community was taken probably about 10 years ago, and the largest percentage of Tipp City who returned the surveys was in favor of putting the stadium at the high school. So it would cover track and football and soccer and any future sport we may get into. I believe the last improvement of the football field was a scam. We had the president of the school board start up what was called Tipp Pride. And I know Kathy followed that very closely. And 3/4 of the money that was raised came from the school. And so I hope in redoing whatever needs to be done is that you leave it with the school board. They're elected. The president set up his own committee. Sometimes Kathy couldn't even get into the meetings because they wanted hush-hush. I took the most experienced builder with me because I talked to the city manager and he said, I can't make tonight's meeting, why don't you just go? I went to the high school in the counseling room where the meeting was being held, and Jerry and I got kicked out of the meeting because Sam said it wasn't public. It was about the football field. It wasn't bid, that's another thing. It wasn't bid, the Bruns automatically just got it. So these are things you need to look out. As far as what you said, Katie, tonight, by working in the post office, blue mailboxes we run into frequent everyday use, the CBUs, which are locked. What we would do, the mud was the big thing. You know, customers go in their mailbox every day. We got what doesn't sound real good, but it worked. You get these like 10-foot strips of 3/4 inch rubber that's got like a slice in it, nothing to stumble on, and they come out of a cattle trailer or a horse trailer. And we would take 12-inch pole barn spikes and nail them down so they wouldn't shift. And that was how we overcome a safety hazard in several cities. So I would do that input.
Mr. Watson, your time is up, sir.
Pardon?
Your time is up, sir. Your time is up, sir.
5 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Bone? Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I am here too to talk about Tipp Pride and the stadium. It's always been a thorn in my side. I went to as many meetings as I could that were open to the public. A lot of them weren't. I have an entire file cabinet full of any material anybody would want about Tipp Pride and the stadium, things that I knew. It's been discussed for a very long time, as long as I can remember, including at many board meetings. In 2014, as Don was saying, the Fallon Group conducted a survey in which the community supported building a new stadium at the high school. The board then voted on it. That board, that year, 3-2 was the vote to build it at the high school. Nothing seemed to happen at the time, and in the following years, however, school officials and a board member met privately with the city manager without total board or public involvement. And we'll never know what happened at those meetings, but the outcome was that the stadium was going to stay in the park. The decision led to the creation of Tipp Pride, an organization intended to raise enough money to rebuild the stadium in the park rather than at the high school with donor, not taxpayer money. Many community members felt betrayed by the change in direction and chose not to donate. When I told a family member about the plan, he and his friends could not stop laughing. Based on their years of fundraising experience with multiple and many different sports groups of all arenas, they could not imagine Tipp Pride would succeed, and they were right. Part of the problem is that large corporations are unlikely to fund a stadium located in a city park. Tipp Pride ultimately raised only a small amount of money, less than half of its goal. Actually, less than half of its, probably a quarter of its goal. It spent $1 million. That was it on the stadium. That was all they spent, and that was redoing the bathroom and a little bit of the other work that was done. When it became clear the community support was limited, Tipp Pride went to the school board, and the board then voted to use money from the Premier Fund to install the turf, apparently hoping visible progress would convince residents that the project could be completed and encourage them to donate. And that's a quote from Tipp Pride. For years, people have been told that Premier paid for the turf, but that's not accurate. Through its contract with the school, Premier provides money that's placed in a Premier labeled account. That account is intended for upgrades to school-owned sports facilities, compensation and benefits for their sports trainers, and advertising at school-owned sports facilities and in sports programs and materials distributed at and for the sporting events. Premier once again did not pay for that turf. Unfortunately, when false statements made repeatedly, people start to begin to believe that. That account does receive money from Premier for their contract now for the items I previously referenced, but taxpayers have been reimbursing that account for years to replace the money that was used for the turf. So, my thought is we should just go back and put it at the high school. If a new stadium were built by the school, it could be larger, better equipped, and include all the amenities a sports stadium should have. It could host larger events, including sports, band competitions, community events, and large events that could draw people from outside this community. A school-owned stadium on school property may also be more attractive to corporate donors because it would not be limited by the restrictions like the floodplain at the city park. Building it next to the school has always made sense. And Premier may actually donate the money to put the turf there. You also have all those people that donated money before, the smaller corporations, and none of their contracts were ever really gone through. They donated money, what they were promised at the stadium at the park did not happen. So my pledge would be that those people that did donate money for whatever happened at the park, if the school does decide to do it at the high school, that some of those donors may get what they were promised at the high school stadium, at the high school, not in the park. Because I believe those people may turn around and even give more money knowing that, hey, we do have a project that may actually get done and get financed. So I'm just hoping you look for it at the park, because people might stand up then and actually get it done. The other thing, which I only have 20 seconds to go, so I'm just told that the tri-agency meetings no longer are being held. From the emails I received from the township officials, Mr. Moran doesn't think it's important for the township officials to know what's going on with the school. So I would just ask that you reinstate these meetings, that they be open to all township officials. And my time's up. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let me make sure this turns off, so, okay, there we go. Don't want it to go off in the middle of the meeting. All right, thank you. Next on tonight's agenda are informational reports. Mrs. Diller, do you have information to share regarding the Miami Valley Career Technology Center?
Yes, in your minutes, you'll see 2 meetings. We had 2 meetings in June. One was a retreat on a Saturday, and at that time, we renewed the superintendent's contract. The first meeting, there were lots of retirements. And also at the retreat, I'm kind of going back and forth here, they gave a state of the district report, both the treasurer and the superintendent. The most impressive thing is that the steady enrollment growth of the CTC from 2006, they had 2,200 students to now this year 7,556 students. It's a huge amount of growth. Dr. Weldy came in 2013. The adult education programs are declining significantly, and that's due to the programs that are available at Edison State, CTC, and Sinclair. And also the lack of the Aspire grants, I believe, which is for GED education. So the building that we meet in is the adult education building, and that will be looked at into turning into more classrooms. The biggest programs, of course, are pre-nursing and cosmetology, type things, but the building would work well for pre-nursing. So that's being looked at into future areas of growth. That's all I have for that. There were lots of retirements, people with lots and lots of years, and a few people were rehired back in different positions, but just they are encountering similar problems as us, getting people in place and substitutes as well.
And I just attended on last Monday, I presented at the Ohio Association of Career Tech Education Conference in Columbus. So it's a couple of day conference. All of the career tech centers in the state of Ohio attend. I saw Dr. Weldy there, and so yeah, I think I looked at some of the topics that were being discussed. Definitely enrollment issue, like a lot of booming enrollment, and that's causing issues with facilities and how to deal with how many students can come and things like that, and then all of the things that are happening with funding, so within the individual school districts that drive. So it was very interesting to hear that perspective.
There was one more presentation at the regular June meeting that I was particularly interested in, just because of my own personal background. The woman that presents, she oversees all of the professional development and the basically the orientation of the new students so she has like 2 roles. But in order to provide meaningful professional development for a staff that is so diverse, it was pretty impressive. Different methods, the entire framework for professional development is pretty forward-thinking in terms of, I mean, it's a challenge in any school district to provide professional development for your staff that's meaningful for every level of teacher. And so I was really impressed with that model, and I had them send me that because it just interests me. So I like those presentations that they give, so.
Thank you. Any other reports?
I did attend
Oh.
Tipp Monroe Community Services. They have not had a meeting in several months. The purse auction was a huge success, $22,000. The highest bid was $750. And all that money, of course, goes to the Summer Lunch on Us program. Another really positive thing is Gordon Honeyman and his estate, he left $25,000 to Tipp Monroe Community Services, and they are looking into utilizing that money for investment purposes. They have a finance subcommittee that looks at that. And they did something new this year, something called Plant Bingo. That was
I went
huge
to that.
success. So,
It was fun.
good.
Thank you. Any questions for Mrs. Dillon? Okay. Mr. Stevens, next up is our monthly financial report. I will turn it over to you, sir.
All right, we have finished fiscal year 2026. It is over and done with, and we actually performed very, very well. The district collected more than its budgeted revenue, and we spent less than our budgeted expenditures, which resulted in a positive cash flow balance with a total cash flow increase in the general fund of over $2 million. This is the first time the district has had a positive cash flow increase since 2019, and that year it was $3.7 million. So not anywhere near that, but it's definitely a better trend than the negative losses we've seen in the past 6 years. So very happy with that. Our highest performers were property tax revenues. Of course, we know that that's kind of a timing issue. The state is still trying to figure out what's going to happen with property taxes, and so I'm expecting to see a clawback of that sooner or later. But right now, I don't even think that, I mean, the county still, I think tax bills did go out recently, but they still haven't provided us what they expect us to receive for the rest of this year. So the jury is still out on that. The other operating revenue, we did have a significant increase driven by interest revenue and our reimbursement for Medicaid services for last year that were done, and we received over $150,000 for Medicaid reimbursement services. So revenues were very good. Personal services and benefits on the expenditure side, our salaries were a little bit over by about, what did I say, about, I think we were over by $200,000, which was tied directly to the number of severance payments that went out for our staff. Because of the 403B plan that we approved, the timing of those payments went out way faster. And so we were over specifically by the severance payments, but it's timing of payment issue. So what would have been paid this year was paid for 2027 was paid in 2026. So I'm not worried about it at all. All of our other line items for our benefits, purchase services, supplies, materials, capital outlay all came in under budget. The other line item that did go over was other expenses, and other expenses is where we pay for our ESC services, and we had additional costs for a larger number of preschool students that we had to pay for preschool students being educated by the ESC. And we also had to pay a higher number of Miami County auditor tax collection fees because we had higher collections of property taxes. They get a higher percentage of collection fees. So overall, I am very, very pleased with where we saw our year-end ending cash balance. We had projected a positive cash flow, but I believe it was only about $400,000, and we ended up $2 million, so I'm very happy with that. Our major fund balances, the general fund has about $13.5 million in it. Our classroom facilities fund, this is the project balance for the OFCC project. We're currently at $46.5 million. The building fund, which also has our OFCC project funding in it, but it's the local portion, we have $21 million. And our bond retirement fund has $5 million. So just those four funds alone comprise, I think it's over $82 million of the $88 million we have at this time. So any questions from board members that I can answer?
Excellent job. Fantastic job to deliver that result. That's a massive improvement, so thank you and Mr. Moran for doing such a great job stewarding the money. Secondly, with a little additional in the cash balances that more than what we expected, is there a way, and I'm sure that you thought of this, but considering what we're planning at the park and things like that, is there a way of making sure that those aren't designated but kind of set aside considering what we're thinking about doing?
Well, I'm hesitant at this time just because of the unknowns with the property tax revenue collections and what could happen. I believe that we're going to see more stagnant collections with the rules that have been put in place, with increases tied directly to inflation rather than the property valuation increases. So our inside millage won't be going up as like it was, which is totally fine. It doesn't need to be exploding. But I'd also like to see what happens with our, this will be, 2027 will be the first year where we have taken back our ESC units for MD, multiple disability classrooms. We are no longer running that through the ESC. We're taking it back on our own, and already we are seeing that the numbers of enrollees in the MD units is higher than what we just had this last fiscal year. So had we stayed with the ESC for the number of students we're seeing that will be in the program for 27, we would have spent a lot more money. I think it was a very good decision to take back the MD unit program into the school so that we put in place the teachers, we put in place the aides, and we're overseeing it ourselves. We'll save money there, but we are going to see an increase in expenses there. So the 5-year forecast is currently being reviewed and worked on. I'm hoping that it still comes out with positive cash flow. Every year needs to try to have positive cash flow, and when we don't see positive cash flow, we need to start looking at things where we can either make cuts or determine how we can try to increase the cash flow. And that is property taxes, which I don't want to even say that anymore, so pretend I didn't say that. But I would say right now, it's not the time to look at the general fund and say, okay, we had some surplus, what can we do with it? I think that we keep that into the 004 fund. That's the local building funds that we've collected, and the interest that's being earned there, and the interest that's being earned, well, the 010 project has to be used on the OFCC project, but what's being earned in 004, and I think that's where we'd focus on that. So, and then anyway, so I would say let's kind of hold off a little bit, but we'll know more. You'll always know more further down the road. So.
Thank you.
Do we have a timeline for when they'll have an estimate on the clawback? I know that the state had pushed that back, and they pushed it back again.
So I actually received some information today from K-12 Consulting. They were talking about 2 counties in Ohio have currently released evaluations that included the clawback amount on there. And they are going, once we have that number, I mean, we should be getting that. And it should be on this forecast. They're thinking that the latest we should have it is mid-August. But the forecast will have a new number in the assumptions page that will show this is the amount that's being clawed back. So we'll have we'll see the numbers in there, what is being taken back from us, and also what we're being reimbursed from the state, because there was some money set aside in the budget to provide us with some reimbursement for the money that was being taken back. So it will be shown individually on the forecast so we can see those numbers. But right now, we have not seen it yet. I know that the county auditor's office hopes to try to have numbers to us within a week. But, you know, we also were told back in February that we'd be getting these numbers, so, and we don't have them yet, so.
And I guess a follow-up question is, do we have is K-12 consulting recommending what the expected rates will be for next year? I mean, they can do the math to say, here's what interest was, here's where property taxes were, although I think it's a.
Oh, you mean for, just
Going
the,
forward, yeah,
they
going
have a
forward.
calculation, and if we don't get something from the state, we will use their
Okay.
calculations. But, I mean, it'll be the best information we have available, would be the K-12 consulting numbers.
Okay.
However, I'm afraid that the county auditor's office may give us a number, and they're going to say, you need to use that now in our budget. So in the forecast, we can use our numbers. In our budget, they want us to use their tax revenue numbers. And if you look at our the financial report, you can actually look at our budget versus actual, and you can see where we had the forecast, and you can see where I put 2 notes in there and said the county auditor's office is making us adjust our tax revenue because they wanted to agree to their numbers. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting and waiting so that we can dump those numbers in. So, and we will be approving the forecast in August.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that. Any other questions for Mr. Stevens? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda are the consent agenda items, which we approved when we approved the agenda earlier, but just mentioning them are the prior meeting minutes from June 22nd's work session, prior meeting minutes from June 22nd's regular meeting, resignations within the district, leave requests, the academic calendar approval for the 2027, 2028, and the 2028, 2029 academic and internal calendars, and the Tipp City exempted village schools online day plans for calamity days. Next on the agenda, under new business, I need a motion to approve the employment of the following staff for the 2026-2027 school year, pending proper paperwork and certification. And you can see under the certified staff, we have Lance Lobenthal, science teacher, Haley Morgan, kindergarten teacher. I believe this is a new position that was created. Classified staff, we have some education assistants, Rachel, Faith, and Brandy. We have Kelly, our lead custodian, Clinton Helsinger, maintenance and custodial worker, and Christian Wilhelm, educational assistant. Again, and then supplemental staff. This was exciting. Mrs. Ahmed, band camp program assistant, Sharon, and another band camp program assistant, and then our guards program assistants, Jacob, Lydia, and Cameron. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Dillard. Open the floor for discussion.
Welcome to Tipp Schools.
Yeah. Adding a new kindergarten teacher, it's my understanding that we have a higher number of students enrolled in kindergarten this year. So to make sure that the class sizes are not too cumbersome, adding an additional educator. I think that's a good decision.
Yes, we're about 170 students enrolled, which is higher than the 140s, low 140s, so necessitated.
Thank you. All right, hearing no other discussion, Mr. Stevens, can you call the vote, please?
Thompson,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Ernst,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Plyman.
Abstain.
Motion passes. Again, welcome to the district. Next on the agenda, I need a motion for the approval to employ the following individuals for athletic service for the 2026-2027 year. And you can see in public content, I am not going to read all of these. You can see all of them below.
I'll motion.
Thank you. Is there a second? I'll go ahead and second. Is there discussion or questions regarding this? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Stevens, can you call the vote, please?
Dillard,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes,
Ernst,
Yes.
Plyman,
Abstain?
Thompson.
Yes.
the motion passes. Next, under new business, I need a motion for the approval of the attached substitute teacher pilot program as presented below. And you can see in public content, this is the same plan that we discussed during the work session for K through 8.
On motion?
Thank you, Mrs. Dillard. Is there a second?
1 second.
Thank you. Mrs. Plyman, I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, Mr. Stevens, can you call the vote, please?
Dillard,
Yes.
Plyman,
Yes.
Ernst,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes,
Thompson.
Yes.
motion passes. Hopefully we'll get some more substitute teachers signed up. Next on the agenda, I will motion for the approval of the 2026-2027 renewal agreement with Environmental Doctor for the facility's air monitoring program at Tipp City Schools. The services include a biannual indoor quality testing at 5 district buildings for a total cost of $14,215. You can see in public content is the contract, and is there a second? I motioned.
Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I'll open the floor for discussion.
Have we ever had any concerning results from the testing that they do?
Kim, could you answer that?
We did a couple times and we addressed it and got it repaired and fixed, so it's been very helpful.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
And I would say, knowing the status of the couple of facilities that needed it, it's probably best to be proactive versus reactive to things.
Does this cover our school buildings or the school buildings plus the board office?
We do all the buildings.
Okay.
Twice a year.
Is there anything else? Okay, hearing nothing. Mr. Stevens, can you please call the vote?
McMurray,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ernst,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Plyman.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, I need a motion to approve the change order CO-048 for the pre-K-8 Conspan Bridge item in the amount of $423,706.21 for the labor, material, and equipment required to remove the existing storm pipes and install a larger Conspan Bridge and erosion control measures. You can see in public content below are the documents of what the plans would be. And then I believe the other one is additional, the documents of what would be required and the cost. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. I'll open the floor for discussion. Mr. Moran, I'm going to yield the floor to you first if you want to address this one more time.
Again, as we talked about at the work session and the information I provided, it's, we need to get rid of the flooding. That's the entrance area and out to the street. This would resolve that issue. So it's really a safety piece.
These would come from contingency funds.
Project contingency funds, correct.
What additional volume of water does this help displace inside of the 3 current pipes?
So it's not additional water. Those three pipes we talked about is not allowing enough water through. because
Yeah, that's what I mean, like.
there's
how much-
excess water that's coming, that was in the original plan. Excess water from the west of 75, I believe, was not incorporated into it because that was expected to go somewhere else. But that's what's coming in and providing and giving more volume to this area. So in order to handle that volume, that opening is, and I think I put in my notes a picture of what it is. There's less restriction, it's just more of an open space, kind of like an not a covered bridge, but a bridge that doesn't have anything underneath it. So it would revert back to kind of what it was before versus the smaller opening. So this opening will be much larger to handle the water flow.
Okay, do we project, because I've talked to a couple engineers down in another county, and they're talking about 100-year flooding events that are more commonly 50-year flooding events, things like that, because it is becoming more common than water displacement. Does that, do you think that that accounts for potentially
Yes.
any additional?
Well, this is something that our engineers and the city
Okay.
signed off on and agreed to, that this would take care of those. We had a couple options. One was a box culvert, but that wouldn't, I think that'd be a lot more evasive to deal with that. This was it's not cheap, but either of those options would take care of it. And Choice One Engineering did the calculations, verified with city approved them to do this.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Stevens, can you call the vote, please?
Ernst,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
McMurray.
Yes.
Lyman.
Yes?
Motion passes. Next, under new business F, I need a motion for the approval to retire, repurpose, and/or recycle outdated and obsolete instructional material per board policy 7310. You can see in the public content below. Well, is a list of everything. There we go. Is the list of all of the materials and items that would be disposed of.
Old textbooks and things.
Correct.
All motion.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Dillard. I'll open the floor for discussion.
Of those three options, what are we doing with these books? Retire, repurpose, recycle?
Retire, I would like to get rid of them to somebody that could use them. That would be the purpose, and if we can't find people that do that, we'd recycle them, but not throw them away and put in the recycling bins if we had to. But ideally, if there's people that would like to have this material, we reach out to different ones. I think the last time we did this,
Mm-hmm.
we reached out to a few different places, and if you have suggestions, we'd be interested in reaching out to those local community groups that might look through them and see where.
Could we open it up to the community, that if anybody in Tipp community that sees this list and says, I'd like to have that for some reason in my house, that they could contact you and request a book?
Yeah,
As a
I mean,
recyclable
we
purpose?
can look at that option. I'm not opposed to it, just.
A lot of these are biology books, and this is the textbook that was actually adopted when I taught here many, many, many years ago. A lot of outdated information.
But-
great textbook, but very
We can look at
outdated.
that as an option. I'm not opposed to it, but just what are the resources that it would take to do that?
Okay.
It's actually one of my favorite textbooks. No, just kidding. That I ever taught with.
We'll go get it.
Nope, now I'm good. I think I have a copy at my house still somewhere from someplace.
The one we couldn't find.
Oh, right. Actually, I think it was the sample that they would bring around and you get to vote on them or whatever. Okay, I'm done. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Stevens, can you call the vote, please?
Thompson,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Ernst,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Lyman.
Abstain.
And the motion passes. Next, under new business, I will motion to approve the memorandum of understanding effective July 1st, 2026 between the Center for Advancing Student Achievement, Inc.,
Doing business as.
Doing business as, correct, I was getting there. Doing business as Center for Career Empowerment and Student Success, Tipp City Schools, and the Tippecanoe High School as presented. And you can see in public content, I think we know them as CCESS, the purpose and their scope of services below. I motioned, is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mrs. Dillard. I'll open the floor for questions and comments.
I feel like we should learn our lesson from the 40-year lease at the stadium by not just having open-ended contracts that auto-renew. So the line on page 2, term 6, note this agreement can be automatically renewed annually on the 1st of July. That doesn't really outline how it automatically renews, if it has to come back before us so that we can evaluate, because they're only a 4-year-old company. I think that we should, and I see down below that it has to be mutual written consent on both parties. We haven't signed it, but just having it so that at least for the first year, so that we can evaluate it, have it come before the board again prior to July 1st.
This is actually the second year. We approved this last year, and I believe a memorandum of understanding has to be approved by the board every year, correct? It's not an automatic renewal.
It says it can be automatically renewed annually on the 1st of July.
It's just the ambiguity of the language that.
Well, we could, again, bring it forward sooner and decide, make decisions prior to July 1. That's not an issue on my end.
I think programs like this should be evaluated on a year-to-year basis. I think it's a great program and students benefit, but I do agree there are new standards that just got released from the state of Ohio for career readiness. And I think that we just need to make sure that these programs are being evaluated and budget friendly, or if we need to add something, so.
I had the opportunity to talk to Kurt for a pretty long time, and he's very passionate about his work, and shared a lot of the positive things that were going on and what's going to happen in the coming year. So I enjoyed that time, being able to talk with him personally, so.
And his company does not work with just Tipp City Schools. He's throughout the state.
Are there evaluation criteria that could be used by the board? And I know that they had a nice summary of the last year, and I appreciate getting that. Their criteria might be different from our criteria.
I think we're aligned in what we want. We want our kids to do more job shadowing, more internships, more opportunities to work. I think we have to do a better job, as I put in my notes and shared, access and follow through is a big piece. And I think that advisory period will be a nice piece to contact kids, but it's not even just kids, it's parents too. There's a few kids that that didn't have even direction, and getting with the parent and the kid in to help, that was a very positive. We just need to do it sooner, and that's what that 7-12 program that we developed along with the administration, with the CCES, and with Jobs and Family Services from Miami County to do. It should do that, but we will evaluate. I want to see more of our kids not just floating. I like to have some purpose and exposure to opportunities for them.
I did get to take part in the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce's overview of their career connections that was just released 8 days ago. And I made sure that they align with what CCESS was providing, and they are aligned. And that is framework from the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. And you can find that. It is now out. It is live. It's called Career Connections through ODEW's site. We're way ahead of other districts, just to let you know. like
Yeah.
leaps and bounds ahead.
We have a ways to go. We have a lot of growth
But we're
opportunity.
but we're still way ahead. So, okay. Any other comments, questions? Okay. Hearing none. Mr. Stevens, can you call the vote, please?
McMurray,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Ernst,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right. Next, I need a motion for the approval of the 2026-2027 bus schedule, subject to administrative review and any necessary revisions. The hard copy of the bus route is available by contacting the Transportation Department at 937-669-6303. And I'm sure that information will be going out to parents, but may I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. I'll open it up for discussion. Do you want to clarify?
This should be going out this week to all families. An email was sent out. He got a lot of emails back to update things, but he's in pretty good shape. And again, knock on wood, our transportation department's in good shape to start the year with a number of drivers and some substitutes, including the one we hired who is finishing up his license. And so is we had another person complete licensure as well this week. So we're doing. I'm happy where we're at right now.
Any questions regarding the bus routes? I appreciate our bus drivers. We've had the same amazing driver for years. I hope we have her again. But she's always been so kind to the kids, and we live way far out there. So those roads are horrendous to travel, and she does a great job. So thank you to all of our bus drivers. We appreciate you.
On Monday, I volunteered at the Lunch on Us program, and I rode with Kevin, to deliver lunches. And he was telling me he got to test out the new buses. He said he was trying to convince the other Kevin to get the 72.
To get a bus? Oh my-
The 84 bus.
Oh, yeah.
He wants the
Cow.
84
Woo.
bus. So,
And they're looking at buses to purchase. We
Yeah.
haven't bought a bus in a couple years
Yeah.
because we haven't needed to, but this year we're going to be purchasing one. So companies are happy to bring out a bus to test drive.
I think maybe we should all go on a bus ride. I'm just kidding. Or not. I don't know.
Just set it up with Mr. Moran.
some districts put their new hires on those buses.
Right? Yeah. Makes you grateful.
All
Okay.
of us up at our houses and take us to the new.
That would be
construction site. Take
amazing.
a tour.
They could practice.
Give them a test run.
Anything else? Okay, Mr. Stevens, can you call the vote, please?
Dillard,
Yes.
Ernst,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes,
Lyman,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
motion passes. And finally, under new business, I need a motion for the approval of the salary schedules for the 2026-2027 school year for substitute staff. And you can see in public content is the draft schedule. And is there a motion? And then I'll let you explain.
All motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. That was Thompson and Plyman. I'll open it up for discussion. I will yield the floor to Mr. Stevens if you'd like to just give a brief overview.
So earlier this year, we approved the admin salary schedule and the classified salary schedule. We did not approve a substitute salary schedule. Aaron and I wanted to take a look at that. Our substitute salary rates have not changed for many of our positions. Our sub teachers have been at the same rate since 2022. And so, and our other positions have been there as well. Some of them have moved a little bit as we increased. Either way, we felt that it was time to review the salary spreadsheet, this substitute salary spreadsheet, And I am making the recommendation that rather than having an amount that's lower, I say we just tie the substitute rate to our step 0 rate for the classified positions. And it will move up with the COLA increases as well. It'll just be an audit. We've been doing this for well over 10 years for our bus drivers. The sub bus driver rate has been tied to the step 0 starting rate since I've been here. And for the teachers, I've gone back to the salary schedule for the substitute teachers, and for all the COLAs that were put in place since 2022, I've increased it 2%, increased it 1.5%, increased it 2%. And the rate that is being suggested for the subs teachers there follows those COLAs that the teachers have had. I think that the schedule makes it a lot cleaner, and the subs will see increases each year as long as COLAs are given and not be frozen as they have been for so long. So just presented this here. Are there any questions from board members that I can answer at this time?
Have the rates always been different for elementary and high school?
That changed back in did I note that? They had been the same for a long time, and then I think when I was not here anymore, maybe in 2022, that's when they provided more for the upper level classes. They changed it from 110 to 120 for the high school and middle school level.
Well, coming from elementary, I would challenge that.
Agreed.
I wasn't here when it
I
happened.
would say the elementary teachers work just as hard as the high school
That was
substitutes.
I
the one
believe
thing I was
it's because of
wondering.
the time of how much time in the day is being spent. I think that the high school and middle school may be here a little longer than the elementary.
Oh.
So, anyway, that's my educated guess on that.
This makes us competitive. I asked Nick what they pay at the MVCTC. It's $150 a day for their subs. And I know there's other districts very close to us that pay just as much, if not a little bit more. So this makes us a little bit more competitive to get those needed subs. Any other questions? Okay. Mr. Stevens, can you call the vote, please?
Thompson,
Yes.
Plyman,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Ernst,
Yes.
McMurray.
Yes. That motion passes. Next on the agenda, I need a motion to adjourn to executive session for the purpose authorized under Board of Education Policy 0166 and Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1 to consider the employment of a public employee or official, and no official action will follow the executive session. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Mr. Stevens, can you call the vote, please?
Plyman,
Yes.
Ernst,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Okay. It is now 7:49 p.m. and this meeting will adjourn to executive session. We will come back.
No anticipated
No,
action.
no anticipated action. So the time is now 7:50. Sorry, I lied. Okay, thank you. This should not take place.
Bag of beef jerky in the car or something. Something, I don't know.
I got gum.
I think
Are we live?
I can see you, but I can't hear anything.
You will in a moment.
Now I can hear.
All right, we're good to go.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay. The time is 8:39 PM and we are returning to our regular session. And there is no action from executive session. Our final thing on our agenda this evening is information regarding our upcoming meetings. Our August 24th, 2026 work session will be at 5:00 PM at LT Ball. We'll be back at LT Ball. And our regular board meeting will be at 6:30 PM at LT Ball. And Mr. Moran, will we have a clear vision of where they should come?
They use the south access road,
Okay,
but both doors will be open,
okay,
just in case they want to go one side or the other.
okay.
They'll be available.
Thank you. Is there anything else for the good of the order? I just wanted to say that our convocation, I cannot believe it's almost August. Our convocation for the district is on August 10th, 11th, I see, I had it wrong, 11th, at 8 AM. So look forward to welcoming back all of the district staff. So I hope that had a restful summer and super excited about the upcoming year. All right, and with that being said, do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
All motion?
Thank you, Mrs. Fleming. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mrs. Dillard. Mr. Stevens, can you call the vote, please?
Lyman,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Ernst,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
And it is now 8:41, and I am adjourning the regular board meeting of Tipp City Schools.
Thank you.